Over the last week, dozens of shootings once again claimed the lives of too many innocent people all across the U.S. As seems to be a regular occurrence in urban America, deadly shootings fill a constant news stream in places like Chicago, New Orleans, and other major U.S. cities. But there was one story in particular that garnered more anger and outrage than usual: the death of 18-year-old Michael Brown of St. Louis, Missouri. See, according to eyewitness accounts, Brown was walking down the street with a friend when an officer in a patrol car approached the two teens. Shots broke out following a verbal confrontation, and moments later, Michael Brown lay dead, unarmed, in the middle of the street. A witness to the event recalled that, quote, "They shot him and he fell. He put his arms up to let them know he was compliant and that he was unarmed, and they shot him twice more, and he fell to the ground and died." This photograph, showing Brown's lifeless body lying face down in a pool of blood, has since gone viral. Not only because officers didn't even bother to cover the teen with a sheet, but left him in the middle of the road for as many as 4 hours in plain sight of neighbors and onlookers. Residents, however, didn't take quietly to the matter and quickly mobilized into protests over the shooting, calling for the, quote, "killer cops to go." The protests continued over the weekend and grew into a massive crowd on Sunday night following a vigil for the slayed teenager. Police responded by sending an estimated 100 police cars to the scene, which is apparently the common response these days when citizens are collectively calling for accountability. Guys, this case reflects a very real problem in America when it comes to race issues. The fact that in 2014, police will instantly associate blackness with criminality. And much of the media is doing nothing more than perpetuating that same ridiculous stereotype. Check this out. After the shooting, news outlets were airing photographs of Brown wearing his high school cap and gown, remarking that he was only days away from starting his first semester in college. But by the time more outlets picked up the story, this photo was circulating around, showing Brown in a sports jersey and suggesting that the boy might have been a gangbanger. Unsurprisingly, in response to this blatant race baiting that the news media uses to drive their narrative, the Twitter community came up with the hashtag #IfTheyGunnedMeDown, posting pictures of themselves on social media and asking which picture the news media would likely use if they were gunned down by police. In this tweet, Ben Valence asked if the media would portray her as a gangbanger or a classy lady. And here, a user posts a photo of himself in a U.S. Army uniform alongside a selfie of him holding a toy gun, asking if the media would use the pic on the left or the one on the right if he were gunned down. The point these hashtag activists are making is that the court of public opinion is driven by how the media chooses to frame the story. Now, every week on this show, we highlight instances of how minorities are disproportionately impacted by police violence in America, and as well as the stereotypes that end up spinning their stories away from the truth. Whether it be Trayvon Martin wearing a hoodie or Michael Brown dropping a peace sign, this is racial profiling at its worst. And when it comes to police violence, we should be disgusted at the pace with which these crimes are committed. According to the Malcolm X grassroots movement, an African-American person is killed by police, security guards, or armed vigilantes every 28 hours in America. Keep in mind that these are often police officers killing members of the very communities they're sworn to protect. But look, at the end of the day, you can blame police tactics that rely on racial profiling, or you can blame the media, but until we take action ourselves, this will continue to be the norm. It's time we step it up. If you see an injustice, film it, report it. Don't wait for accountability, demand it. Because at the end of the day, they can't ignore us all.